Good morning, Atlanta Braves fans across the ATL, across the globe, across the Braves verse. How is everyone doing this morning? I hope everyone is doing well. It is a great day today as the Braves took 2 out of 3 games from the St. Louis Cardinals. And
Two
my
series in a row.
my homie John, today is also draft day, John. What's going on, man?
We
How we
made it.
doing this morning?
We made it. I got to represent today. I got to wear the Falcons today because and I got of course the Braves, but
Amen.
rocking the Falcons polo today for work. So yeah, man, I'm excited, dude. Number one draft day is finally. Thank God, man, because these last few weeks it happens every year. You just kind of like okay. We've done every scenario, we did every draft possibility, and we're still going to be wrong. They're going to do something that we're not even thinking about. So
Absolutely, 100%. I'm so
yeah.
ready for Dirk Smudges to go. I don't know what to do. So,
Oh my gosh. Hey man,
uh,
he showed up. He showed up for voluntary workouts though.
you know what? I saw that, and it's like whatever Raheem says, Dirk just has to do the opposite. You know. So
Mhm.
maybe we should be like, oh, Kirk is definitely not going to take a trade anywhere, and he'll be like, I'll take the trade.
Yeah,
Just to spite
exactly.
Raw. I don't know. But hey, man, we're obviously here to talk Braves this morning. Nothing wrong with talking a little bit of Falcons, but we got
Of
to
course
talk
not.
Braves. We got to talk what's going on. Braves take 2 out of 3 from St. Louis, and it was great. And oh man, we got a friend of mine, Mr. Jordan Burton, in the chat. Jordan, how you doing, buddy? Here's the
What's up,
funny thing
Jordan?
about Jordan. He's a friend of mine, but he's also get this, John, a Saints fan and an Eagles fan.
Oh my
He's both.
gosh.
That's right. And as
Man,
Jordan would tell me, he doesn't love one more than the other, right? That's something you definitely don't see every day. But like I say, the guy is a friend, so I got to give him a hard time. Jordan, what's going on, man? I know Jordan is excited, especially since those what's from the Eagles from Philadelphia won the Super Bowl. So we have to make good picks this time. 'Cause we can't have the Eagles just running amok and winning all willy nilly. I think the Saints will take the Aints. I'm sorry, excuse me, those Swampers. They'll
mhm.
take care of themselves, but we got to stop these Eagles, man. We got to stop what's going on. But
Yeah, man.
let's get into it, man. So here recently, um, I think we all know it by now. Jared Kelnick pimped a home run the other day. Crushed it. Sat back, admired it. Because let's be honest, it was pretty. It was pretty. It was a beautiful, beautiful shot, and he admired it until he realized, oh wait a minute, it's not gone. Oh wait a minute, now I got to run. Oh shit, and he gets thrown out at second. Right. Um, and this has been a very polarizing topic because some folks are like, well, Ron, you're dividing the team. What are you doing? And some folks are like, well, you got to be consistent, because if Ron would have done that, you would have pulled him out. Matter of fact, I think a couple of years ago, he pulled out Ozuna for doing the same thing. Ozuna admired a ball or whatever. It may have been 2023, it may have been 2022. It's probably 2023, but he did pull
Mhm.
him out of a game. So it does happen. I did hear the who was it interview with Jeff.
No, Frank Gore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
saw the interview with Jeff Franco, and Jeff Franco had some very, I don't want to say inflammatory,
He
but
was emotional.
some scathing comments about it. Now,
Yeah.
you know, here's the thing. I try to see all sides. Now, John, I got to be honest. I got to be honest. When he first did it, my first thought was, oh, Smith's gonna pull him out. Okay,
Mhm.
because, and let's just keep it real, Kelnick is batting not even his weight. Okay, so and I'm not saying you should do it anytime, but there's a difference
No.
between hitting 385 and pimping a home run,
Yeah.
and hitting 185 and pimping a home run.
You don't pimp
Okay,
shit when you hit. Now it ain't even 185. It's like 150 something now at this point.
yeah, I
I
mean,
mean,
you can't do that. So my
no.
first thought was, oh, he's gonna take him out, right? And
Mhm.
then when nothing happens, I didn't say anything to myself because honestly, I think we won the game. So whatever. But
Mhm.
it did stick in my head. And then what ended up happening was Mark Bowman, because Jeff Francoeur was saying that, oh, Ronnie just made this comment. No, Ronnie replied to an article from Bowman saying, well, wait a minute, why didn't you pull him out of the game? Blah, 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 blah. And that's when Ronnie said, yeah, he definitely would have pulled me out. So before I respond, I want to hear you respond, because this thing has legs and tentacles and it got out of hand. Give me your honest thoughts on this.
Yeah, well, it was just like you. I was like, dude, why is this guy staring at anything? Like, run, dude. Like, because if he runs out of the box, he's walking into second base.
Yep.
It's not even close.
Not even close, right?
But yeah. So, but I initially thought he was going to get pulled too, right? And so when they asked Snit after the game, his response was weird. It was like they asked him, did you say anything to Snit or to Kelenic, whatever? And he was like, I don't know, was I supposed to? Like, it's kind of like, really? But then, the next day they kind of pressed him on it, because of course Ronnie tweets that out. Then he deletes it because he's like, oh, probably shouldn't have said that. And so he goes back the next day. They ask him again, and Snit's like, well, I didn't see it till this morning, and like people jumped on him like, how the hell you not see it? Well, I mean, he's probably watching the ball like we all were for the most part. I mean, like seeing where the ball went. So he may not have been staring at Kelenic while the ball's in the air, possibly going to go out. It is kind of weird that nobody would have said something to you, like nobody saw it. And it's not the player. It's not. I don't mean a player. It's not the player's position to go to a coach. But hey, did you see Jared? Nobody's going to do that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. But
maybe a coach would have saw it. But if they didn't, if everybody was watching the ball the entire time, then nobody saw him jogging or walking out of the box. So it's possible. I'm not going to kill him for that. And so they had a conversation. They talked about it. It would have been better if he just was like, no, we have a conversation, but I'm gonna sit you for 2 games or a game or whatever the case may be. Just come out and do that, just to be consistent, And he said every situation is different. Ronnie's is different, whatever. And Ronnie, he didn't sit him initially. Like, Ronnie would do it a few times, and he finally, I think, whatever. When this was when Ronnie was young, rookie or first year or second year, and didn't run out a ground ball, something like that. Then he was like, okay, you're not getting my point, so I'm gonna have to sit you.
Right.
So Frenchie now on the radio, just you could tell like he was emotional about it. Like, it was like he like personally did it to him or something. Like he was, you know what I mean? Like was like, man, this is just throwing your teammates around the bus, and you can't say. And he went on to say, like, we won a World Series without Ronnie. Like, a lot of that stuff wasn't needed, man. I like Francoeur a lot. I thought he was fantastic on the TV. I think he's really good on what he does. He just, and I there's parts of it that I agree with. Other parts I'm like, dude, like, just like, you can't, there's no reason to even go that far on it. Like, I understand you're upset about it. I understand, you're a former player and you're looking at it through those eyes, but like, dude, I mean, there's no reason to kind of go where you went with it, and talking about, because Ronnie loves playing for the Braves. He said that I don't know how many times, and how many times has he's been hurt because he plays with his hair on fire most of the time. Right. You know what I mean? So like, young, he made some mistakes when he was younger, like a lot of players do. Kelenic, younger player, but like, dude, this is like, you're on your last, maybe your last shot, but this is, I mean, it didn't work out with Seattle. It's not working out here. Like, you need to be crossing every T and dotting every I, brother. You ain't got time to do nothing like that.
To pimp a home run, right?
Right. So, it's just, but the national media, of course, I mean, just look, everybody was like, look, Kelenic should have ran it out. Snit should have benched him. Ronnie never should have tweeted that. Like, all that shit can all be true at the same time, because it just didn't need to happen. Like, if Ronnie doesn't tweet that out, nobody really talks about it. It's just kind of moved on. Yes. I understand Ronnie's sentiment, because Ronnie's probably like, I probably wouldn't. Look, I thought it. you probably thought
it. Thank you. I mean, I don't even think. Look it. And I'm gonna be. Hold on. I want to make sure you got everything out. So let me shut up.
No. I'm just saying, like, it's people that are pissed off at Ronnie and pissed off at Kelenic or pissed off at Snit. You can just be pissed off at all three, because all three could have handled it better.
Yes,
that's it.
Yes,
that's it. Like, it's not the end of the world. It's not a big deal. Ronnie's not going to be traded. Like, it's just like some of the shit that's gotten way out of hand. Like, it's just, dude, the
Thank
guy didn't hustle, and he should have been handled better. Like,
thank you.
you
Thank
know,
you. Here's my thing. Morning, A1. About to get into
Chris, what up, buddy?
brother. Hopefully all is well. But here's my thing, right? Yes, Ronnie could have been silent, but I gotta be honest. He said what we all were thinking. I'm just gonna keep it real. He said
100%.
what we all were thinking. Now, as a leader, okay, somebody should have told Snit, hey, he didn't run that out.
Yeah.
Because you are a leader of men, the one thing you have to be is consistent. That doesn't mean you have to treat everybody the same. Wait a minute, T-Will. Is that an oxymoron? What did you say? No. That doesn't mean you have to treat everybody the same, but you have to be consistent. There are certain offenses you got to address in the moment. Now, I know for a fact that Snit did not sit Ronnie the first time he didn't run something out. I know he didn't. How do I know? Because Ronnie did it in the playoffs a couple of times one year. And Snit didn't sit him until the following year. So when Snit's saying every situation is different, that's what he's talking about. He's saying, look it. Normally, Jared Kelnick plays with his hair on fire. And he does. Because he knows he can't afford to dog it. Okay? And he didn't see it. The bottom line is, and this is what Snit has to realize, I know you won a World Series in 21, but a lot of these folk don't like you. And when I say these folk, I mean a lot of these fans. John, you're on Twitter every day. You see how it is. Fair or not, you see how it is. And a lot of these fans are waiting for the opportunity to slit throats. Right?
100%. Yeah.
And so you got a guy hitting 151, dogging it, you better know. And if he didn't see it, one of his coaches should have told him, hey, man, he didn't do it. And look, it should have had a conversation. Now, no, Ronnie didn't help it. I'll be the first to admit that. That does not help. You probably should have did that in private. If you felt that way, you probably should have did that in private. But what that tells me is for you to do it in public like that, you obviously don't feel like you can go to Snit. Obviously, something has rubbed you the wrong way. And that's okay. Everybody who works together is not going to be buddy-buddy. I'm going to keep it real. I've been in the workforce for damn near 40 years, and I'm telling you, I didn't love everybody that I worked with. Okay? Newsflash. There's some folk, and if my wife were here, she would say I shouldn't say it, but damn it, I'm going to say it. There's some folk, John, that if they just dropped off the face of the earth, it'd be all right with me.
Right.
Now, did I work with them? Yes. Did I respect them? Yes. Did we have a good working relationship? Yes. But I would not pee on them if they were on fire. That's not everybody. That's human beings, right? I'm not saying that Snit and Acuna's relationship is adversarial, but clearly there's something to be desired there, right? I agree.
Yeah.
Everybody could have done it better. Ronnie didn't have to say that. Ronnie could have expressed that in private. Snit probably should have had the coach come tell him, hey, man, this is what happened, and he should have addressed it. And Kelnick should have done it in the first place. All right, now that we got that off. Hey, Chris A1, how you doing this morning, brother? How you feeling?
Hey, man, I'm about 80%. About 80%. But
you got about what? It's 12 hours to be 100%. So.
I'll be 100% by the end. But yeah, guys, I was the other night. I was going through it. We had John Abraham on, and you know, what I'm saying, it was a great show. But as far as I was feeling terrible. Woke up the next morning feeling even worse. And you know, you just gotta take care of your health at the end of the day. And that's what I did. So yesterday and part of this morning is all just like recovery process. But definitely had to chime in with you fellas on the chop shop and yeah, I see that you guys are talking about a very interesting topic. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I absolutely love the fact that Ronnie called out Snit. I know it's not it wasn't the right thing to do. Like, even when it was brought to my attention, I was like, ooh, Ronnie, I said, chill. You right, but chill.
Yeah.
And everything, but he is right. And I'm sorry, man, I'm with you when you're right. We would like you said, T-Will, he said exactly what we all were thinking.
Yeah.
And honestly, I remember when Ronnie got benched. And I'm just like, if you're going to bench Ronnie, you have to bench Kelnick. You
Agreed.
have to be the same with everybody.
Agreed.
That's what people dislike already about people who not named Snit or a part of a baseball team.
Yeah.
When you don't act the same way with everybody, it makes everybody look at you sideways.
Right. Right.
So how are you going to hold an MVP to a certain caliber, but Kelnick gets a pass? Kelnick, out of all people, gets a pass.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm Ronnie, I see that, and yeah, it may deter me a little bit. Yeah, it may make me a little upset
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, you chewed my behind out
Yeah.
and all this stuff like that, and you held me to a standard.
Yeah.
If they're in a Braves uniform, they should be held to a standard. Somebody should have, should have also came to Snit and say, "Hey, look, yeah, he slacked up on that one."
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if I'm the skipper, and I'm not saying that, since Snit, I know he's an older gentleman. I'm not saying that he should always remember these things or whatever, but it's at the same time, can I not? Like, you should have already known this before the press conference, before you came in and said what you said. You should have already. I feel
Yeah.
like somebody should have already showed you some video. Maybe you should have went after them and be like, let me just see exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Everything. I feel like everything could have been done better from
Oh, yeah.
both parties. But ultimately, in this situation, I am kind of like more so on Ronnie's side, y'all. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I thought it was BS. I want the best of the best in Braves uniforms, just like, you gentlemen. And I don't think Killen should have got a pass at all. And I understand how Ronnie feels. I feel like it's one of those things to where let's see where we can move on from here. But I definitely feel like it is a disconnect between Ronnie and Snit. And we already know if it comes down to who would I want to keep, uh, it's not going to be my skipper. I ain't gonna lie to you. If I had to come down to it,
Well,
it's not going to be Snit. For
yeah.
me, it's going to be I'm keeping Ronnie. So it's just like, okay, you know what I'm saying?
Well,
Just
I, I hear you, but I have to be fair and say, and you are right. You are in the spirit of things. You are right. But when he did that to Ronnie, it was not the first or second or third time he had told Ronnie, you need to run. Right. Remember, Ronnie did that twice in a playoff series. And one of them cost us a game. Right. And that was the year. So I gotta be consistent. Yes. Should he have done it to Kelnick? Yes, he should have. Yes,
mm-hmm.
that's correct. And I understand Ronnie's point. And it's not about well, you did this to me and you did it to this guy. It's about how you handle it, right? So when it did happen, because people miss things, I agree there should have been a conversation, and Snit should have said to Kelnick, "Hey, for consistency's sake, I'm gonna have to sit you. I'm gonna have to at least sit you." And I don't remember if Kelnick played the day after. I honestly don't at this point, because
Probably.
T-Wil was lazy yesterday and couldn't get up. And I can't remember if he played the next day, but he probably should have set Kelnick for about 2 days, and that would have squashed it. And look, all things can be true. Several things can be true at once, right? Yes, Ronnie was warned several times before it happened. And I think that was Francour's frustration. Now, where I do not agree with what Jeff did, if you want to have that privately, that conversation privately, that's one thing. But understand, Jeff, you're no longer a player. You are an announcer for the Braves. And so when you do that and you go to that extent, you can now be turning the fans against a player that, number one, is under contract through 2028, a popular player, and we need to get the most out of it. So what you're doing is counterproductive. Because I agree, John, he was on one. He said,
Yeah.
"Look,
He was.
we won a World Series championship without running, and we can do it again." And that's smart.
No, I
He
missed
did.
that.
He did.
I did not know any
He
of that.
he
He
did.
said that?
Yeah,
Mhm.
he was mad because
No,
his
brothers.
point was, and I guess what he was saying, and this is what people don't understand, right? Where Ronnie is from, and Snit being in baseball for 40 years, those are two total different cultures. Okay? Those are two totally different cultures. The way they play the game in the Caribbean, especially now, versus the way we play the game here, that's a little different, right? So when Ronnie joins us in 2019 or 2018 or whenever, it was a little bit of culture shock, right? Ronnie is basically been the best player on every team he's ever played. You think anybody ever said something to him about running something out? No, they didn't. So it took him a while to get acclimated to this game, right? And I think what Jeff's point was before Snit benched you, he probably told you 10, 12, 15 times, right? And he also said something that was key. And again, hey, look it, there can be multiple because
But
this
Jeff, is that a fact that he did that? Do you have proof that he did that? Or are you just saying that,
no,
Jeff?
that's a fact. That is a fact. That is a
Oh,
fact.
okay.
That is a fact, Chris. Because I've watched this game and I watched Ronnie not run out plenty of balls. Again, he did it in the playoffs and it cost us a game. And Freddie was pissed about it because they interviewed him and he was like, we just can't have that. Right? So I can agree with him there, right? And I get it. And the other thing that Jeff brought up was Jeff was like, when the Marlins kept hitting Ronnie, notice nobody came to his defense, and that's true. Now you could argue that
Snit did eventually.
The culture of the Braves.
Yeah, I'm about to say eventually that he came to him, like John just said.
But I guess what I'm saying is, if that had been Freddie and they'd have done that to him, that bench would have erupted long before, right? So clearly, Ronnie being the young kid, probably a little arrogant, may have rubbed folks the wrong way. I'm giving you the total context.
Yeah.
But even with all of that, 2025, we are here now, being where we are, in the midst of we no longer having certain factors here. The one thing we got to have is consistency. So I agree with John. Multiple things can be true. Snit should have checked that and nipped that in the bud. And look, it's almost like he's gone to the Raheem School of Interviewing. You can't say stuff like, I don't know. You can't say stuff like, well, I didn't see it. Oh my God. You can't
that
say
stuff
that.
burns me up. Yeah, that stuff burns me up.
Even if it's true, you can't say that. All right. Look, I've been a leader at work. I've been a manager. I've been a supervisor. And all personalities, have there been some folks for me that work for me that I love? Absolutely. Have there been some assholes that work for me? Absolutely. And guess what? You have to work with them both. You gotta, everybody that works with you, you're not going to have undying love for. Okay? I'm just being real. I've had teams of 20, 30, 40, and I didn't love them all. Well, I did love them all, but I didn't like them all. Right? The religion that I serve says I gotta love everybody. So in that way, I did love them all, but I certainly did not like them all. I'm just being real, right? So no, you're not gonna have the same relationship with everybody. Chris, I think you're right. John, I think you're right. But I think it's important that we discuss it because, and especially with the media, they want to take something and run with it because they didn't have to comment on it. They did not.
That's the thing.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, John. Go ahead.
No, and that's the thing. Like, I mean, Frank Orr was pissed that Ronnie said that and created the stir. Well, dude, you just made it even. You just threw gasoline on it.
Worse, right? You made it
with what you just said.
You made it worse.
Yeah, I know it's like you said, you're in the media now to give your opinion, but like that's the thing. Like Acuna, when he was like, what you said was perfect. Like I think he was young, he was a star, probably a little bit arrogant. So Snit was probably like, okay, we're gonna have to
bring you down to earth a little bit.
We gotta nip this a little bit before this gets crazy. You know what I mean? And so, like you said, Freddie was pissed about it after the game. He's not going to just flat out MF a dude on in a post game, but he did like what you said. He was like, we just can't do that. You could tell he was pissed off about it. So, but that was younger. Like Ronnie hadn't had those issues in years.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Correct.
Like Ronnie's, I think he moved on from that. Like I said, we haven't had that. He runs out everything. That's like I said, he's jacked up his knee running really hard.
Out, right.
So, that's kind of on, in the past, but like, Yeah, I mean, you can't even if, like you said, if Snit said if he didn't see it, you just don't say it out loud. Like,
Can't
you know
say
what I
it.
mean? Like
Cannot
it's
say that.
because, like I said, it's legit. He was probably watching the ball, like I said. You know, that's probably, but you just don't say it to the media. You could just be like, oh, well, you know what, we're going to talk about it. You know, and
Right.
then you go back. What the hell are they talking about? You
Right.
watch it before you come in the next day. It's taken care of. Boom. Yeah, you
Right.
what? You know, he should have been running. Now he's benched. You know, for at
Right.
least a game.
There you go.
But
Would have
and you
handled
know,
everything.
problem solved.
I agree.
Problem solved.
Would have
And that's
handled
it.
everything. Right.
And Ronnie
Right.
probably was just like on his phone and was just kind of like, boom, you know, just sent it. Was just kind of like that was just emotional as shit. It was just like almost, you know, just
Yeah.
I mean,
But-
he did not observe the 2-minute rule for athletes like they should. Like you type it out, you set your phone down, you think about it for 2 minutes.
Oh no,
Still
no! I ain't gonna lie to you, John. When Ronnie seen that, he said, "Vengeance."
That was immediate. That was just like boom,
Why?
send.
What
He
he said
said,
was, wait a minute,
"Vengeance, bro."
he
Yeah,
said,
absolutely.
Celtics
And
is
then,
basketball. What?
yes, and
What?
then at the same time, you gotta understand. Yes. There you go, T-Will. You right on point because it's like at the end of the day, I'm Ronald Acuna Jr. That's Jared Kelnick. We are light years apart. And
Yep.
I still but the basis is and the point is just be consistent with everybody. And that's what I'm just saying as a
Yes,
skipper.
yes,
You know, so just
yes.
be consistent with everybody, and you don't even have this problem
Yeah.
at all. Like, doesn't nobody tweet anything? Don't nobody get all emotional? Because I do agree with John 1000%. It was emotional, but I do agree with the young man.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah,
just you
I'm
just
sure
wish.
afterwards he was like, ah, shit, you know, probably shouldn't hit send on that one.
I
But
don't think he felt like that. I think
he
he
deleted it.
stood 10 toes down on exactly what he was saying. I
Well,
really feel like that.
that's not the first time that Ron. So all right. So Ron's dad, a couple years ago, had some unflattering stuff to say about Snit. Like I say, they've worked on their relationship, right? The
Yeah.
way Snit feels
Right.
about Ozzy is not the way he feels about Acuna because he loves Ozzy. He loves Ozzy. Okay, Acuna,
Absolutely.
that's Ozzy's best friend, and he loves the fact that Acuna is a great player, the best player the Braves have ever had, not named Hank Aaron. So you know, I mean, and again, a relationship takes work, right? So what
Right.
I hope they take from this, I hope that when Ronnie does come back, Ronnie and Snit at least sit down and talk and say, "Hey, man, look, you're not going to agree with everything I do. I'm not going to agree with everything you do. I probably should have checked them. That's my bad." And if you do that, at least they can say, "Well, you're consistent, right?" Because I'm gonna be honest with you,
Right.
and it works both ways. Some of the people that work for me, some of them probably didn't like me. They probably were like, hey, "He's an asshole. Oh my god, I can't stand the guy. I hate him." You know what I mean? But they can't say I wasn't consistent. The one thing that when I worked in management, they said, "Look, either be an asshole to everybody or be a nice guy to everybody, but you got to pick a side." So whatever side you're going to pick, you got to stay, you got to be consistent with everybody. And understand, I didn't treat people the same. You can't. But
Dude, did you ever hear?
you have to be consistent, right? Look, I
Yeah.
had a young lady that did everything I asked. You think I'm gonna treat her the same way I do this asshole I can't get to come to work? Hell no. But in the eyes of the law, in the eyes of HR, it's gonna look the same. You get what I'm saying? But the relationship is totally different. Okay, the one that worked all the OT, she could come up and ask anything she want me, and she got it. This asshole that barely came to work, oh shit. But when it comes to paperwork, that you get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
No, totally.
You can't
What?
you have to treat people according to the relevance and the importance to the organization. I'm just keeping it real. Go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry. Chris?
No, it was I think it was. You got anything, Chris?
Oh yeah, man. That's what I'm saying. Just honestly, just listening to you guys, and like I get exactly what you're saying, but oh man, again, I'm just going back to the point again that I just feel like the consistency thing. I'm putting it on Snit also because he's like older, and Ronnie is still in his 20s. You know, so I'm just thinking, okay, maybe as the older guy being Snit is, maybe he should have just looked at it as one of those things where like, okay, he's lashing out. He feels some type of way. And I feel like these two need to sit down and have a conversation and to make this better. Because if we don't, this could be a situation, as I'm just sitting here listening to you guys, that can really just leak over and carry over, because Ronnie will be back soon.
Mhm.
And I would love for them to already have this hashed out and have this already nipped in the bud completely, whether it's privately, publicly, whatever. Because I don't want this to kind of like trickle down into the season and come August, September. It's ugly, like, and it's visually ugly. Like,
Yeah.
like that's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about the long term effect. Like when we start getting toward playoff time, or just August, September. Like, what would the body language be by then? You
Oh,
know,
I think they're going to talk about it before then. I think they're going to hash it out as soon as he gets back, if they haven't
yeah,
already.
yeah. I
Because
really hope that they do. I really hope that it's hashed out, brother.
yeah, they have to. They have to, because this. I mean, that's the face of your team, basically, star of your team. You know, and like that's yeah. I mean, that's got to be done. And Smith's not that stupid. Like he knows, like, okay, I can't ignore it, pretend like it didn't happen. You know,
Yeah.
and Ryan's gonna be the same way. He's like, I can't ignore and pretend like I didn't say it. So like, you know, just be grown men, talk to each other, and move on. You know, that's about what it boils down to. But I mean,
That's what you
what
gotta
was
do.
it? I think it was Jimmy Johnson back in the '90s. Do you remember talking about like Eggman, and I mean, I think he was bitched like this. A player was complaining that he wasn't getting the same treatment, and he was like, as like those guys, and he was like, Jimmy was like, yeah, that's Emmitt Smith. You barely made the team. Like, I mean, so it's like they're, but that's the opposite. You're talking about a guy who's like, letting the stars kind of run the show at that point,
Yeah.
and then letting the other guys kind of have to just follow up. But I mean, yeah, I mean, it's yeah, I think it'll be squashed. Like I said, Jeff didn't help it at all in the radio interview, and also like it's just his tone, man. Like saying like, oh, he's probably out there in L.A. listening. Like, well, yeah, of course, that's where he went to check his knee. Like, what does that even mean? Like why even say that?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. Oh
I
man,
mean,
I did not hear that interview. I'm glad I didn't hear the interview. It probably would have made me upset.
dude, it pissed a lot of people off. I mean, like I don't like I said, you could tell like he was like it was him that was personally affected by it,
Yeah.
and I know he was just putting himself in the probably Kellenick's shoes or whatever, but he just took it to another level. I don't even think Kellenick gives a shit that much. He's probably just kind of like, all right. I mean, like, dude,
I mean,
like,
what can Kellenick say?
right? Well, they
Dude,
told him.
talking about
I
some
mean,
heat on. He can't. So what you gonna say, Jared? Shoot.
yeah, I mean, and he said like the next morning or whatever, it's like, yeah, there's just no excuse for it. Yeah, correct. There is no excuse for it. I mean, like that bottom line,
Thank you,
So
sir. But that's
whatever.
all
Yeah,
I
move
need
on.
from.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all I need from you, sir. Thank you.
Hey, Eli White. Eli White won us the game yesterday. Put him in right field. Sit Kellenick. Move on. There we go.
Yeah. I mean, there you go. I mean, look at
I
my thing
love
is
it, John. John just so cut and dry. You know what I'm saying? Just have this the answers right there. You know?
that's what you look. If you're a
Yeah,
leader,
just keep it moving.
if you're a leader of men, that's what you got to be, right? Because things are gonna happen, right? Things are gonna happen. Guys gonna get stuff happens. It happened, unfortunately, but it's how you handle it. It's how you grow from it. And I hope Frank Court grows from it, because the bigger picture is, look, French, if you're trying to get to national media, you can't do that. You cannot. Even we as podcasters, there's a line we can't cross, right? Now, I look, we all know some podcasters that are like, F this guy, F that guy. And the problem with that is, well, what if that guy wanted to come on your show? He's not doing it now.
Right.
He'll never do it now. And not only will he not do it, but if he represents an affiliate or a station, they're probably not doing it. So sometimes you got to govern your mouth. And I think Frenchie just got caught up. And look, I understand everybody's point. I understand Ronnie's point, but I also understand Frenchie's point, right? Frenchie's saying, look, this guy did stick up with you. In some instances, he was the only one that stuck up for you. And you're going to do this. But I think, again, what you're looking at is a cultural divide.
Yeah.
Right? You get what I'm saying? And everybody has a different culture. There's a different culture in the Wilson household than there is in the Yates household. And I'm not talking about racial. I'm saying, look, we have there's certain dishes that we like that, John, you may not care for, right? There's certain spicy dishes that we prepare there's certain dishes that you may have that I may not care for. Chris, there may be certain dishes in your household, sir, in the Moore household, that
Right.
John or myself may not care. There may be some traditions that you have, right? For Christmas, my
Mm-hmm.
wife likes to leave the tree up for about 7, 8 days, right?
Yeah, that's
And then
nosy.
I gotta go. Now,
See,
my
you
part,
guys have trees, I'm sure. See, I don't normally have a Christmas tree.
there
And
you
if I
go.
do, it's like the little small one that can go on the desk. That's about it.
There you go. There you go. Everybody has their own culture, their own traditions, their own nomenclature. And I think, again, when you're talking about baseball and guys coming from all over the globe, you got to get used to the differences, right? Doesn't mean I'm right, doesn't mean you're right, doesn't mean I'm wrong, doesn't mean you're wrong. We just have to find a way to get along and understand certain things, right? Look, in some cultures, soccer is the prevalent sport, right? I've worked with guys from the Caribbean, guys from Europe, and baseball wasn't their thing. But you put on the World Cup and work might stop. Okay.
Yeah, literally.
So we gotta be able to, number one, understand our differences, and we have to respect one another and grow from that. And I think that's all that happened. Look, I think French will be fine. I hope somebody talked to him and said, "Hey, man, you can't do stuff like that." But it is what it is, man. Hey, we got to do some housekeeping. Let's catch up on some stuff. As my friend Jack Spade would say, the chat is live. The chat is lit. We got Jay Black in here this morning. Oh man, Jordan dropped a zinger on me. He said, what did he say?
Some hope we drop the kicker. Right? I hope the microwave start working on breaking. You can't warm up your lunch.
Oh shit.
Oh, that's some Falcon Saints stuff right there, man. I love it. Jay Black says, "Yeah, rise up, rise up." I
Hello, Jay
love
Black.
it. Miss Carey says, "Good morning,
What's
John.
up, Gary?
T-Wil, 2 series wins in a
Here,
row.
here.
Braves.
Yes.
I love it. Amen, amen, amen. Happy draft day, everyone. Hey, it is draft day. That's right. Mike
Woo.
says, fellas,
What's up, Mike?
fellas, what up, Mike? Carrie says, for my ATL Braves. So, guys, if you watched the One Time for the Fans show last night, at about, I want to say, an hour and 45 minutes, that show got off the rails. Like, it just became, all right, we're just going to crack on people. We're just going to roast everybody. And it was hilarious. And Bodie came in.
Yeah.
And
That's when it really got ignorant.
yeah, and Bodie it was hilarious. So
That's when it really got ignorant.
yeah, it's about 45 minutes of just chicanery, just foolishness. And one of the things that came out from that was we were talking about the movie Sinners. Carrie asked if anybody has seen it, and I said, "Well, I'm doing a podcast on it this weekend." And they were like, "Dang, man, you're doing a podcast?" They were like, "Oh, for my ATL movies," and then somebody said, "For my ATL McDonald's," and it just it blossomed into for my ATL everything, right? So when she said for my ATL Braves, that's what she's referring to. Michael says, I'm not risking my relationship with Acuna for Jared, who is still streaky when you need him most. And that's a good point. Michael says, Snit is hated because he's not Cox. I think Snit's hated just because they don't understand that Snit's from a different time. Look, I think Snit is a great coach. I don't have an issue with Snit. I think Snit's tired. I do. I think Snit's been doing this for damn near 50 years and shit. He's tired. Okay? But I think he's
Get off my lawn.
Yeah, hey man, look,
He's actually chilled out some. Snit used to be more of a hard ass than he is now.
Yeah, he's calmed down a lot. But even in doing that, it probably takes. I don't want to say it takes years off his life, but you see folk doing certain things, and you thinking to yourself, boy, boy, boy. So I get it. My brother Eric Parker says, "Morning, everybody." Michael says Cox would have cuffed them the blink out and would have and would have. Eric Parker, if he holds him accountable, is he going to get better though? And it's a good question. That's a good question. But I don't think it's about him getting better, Eric. I think it's about him, like John said, maintaining a standard for the team, just like
consistency.
Carlos says homies. Carrie says, y'all still have faith in Snit as the leader of this team. Guys, let's talk about that for a sec. Okay. Look, this needs to be said. This needs to be said. And again, when I say this, I am not questioning Snit's leadership. I kind of am, but I'm not. Okay. It seems like when Wash and who was the first base coach, John?
Eric Young.
When Wash and Young left, something's been missing ever since. And you could argue Freddie and Dansby as well, right? That's the one thing with Alex Anthopoulos that I do not agree with. There's some players you got to keep. Now, you didn't want to give Dansby a contract. I'm okay with that. But I would have kept Freddie. It was 1 year.
That was on Freddie.
No, but yeah, I was saying y'all was just about to say that was on Fred though.
It was.
I mean, both guys, they could have picked up the phone. Like,
right.
I mean, Alex could have called Freddie directly, which is not something they typically do as a GM, but he could have. In that situation, like Freddie being the guy he is. But like Chipper said a while back, Freddie, if you want to be a Brave, just be a Brave.
Yeah.
Tell him what you want, man.
That's true.
It's kind of like that simple. You know, I hate to bring football into it, but it was almost like what I heard. I forgot the gentleman's name, but you know what I'm saying, he's a Steeler right now. And they asked him, well, what kind of pitch are you going to give Aaron Rodgers? And he just said, I'm not giving him any pitch. If you want to be a Steeler, you want to be a Steeler.
That's true. That's true.
You know,
I mean, he ended up taking less money to be in California. I mean, like, so.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're fine. So, Jeremy B says Riley's hustle right now is top tier, and it is. And in fact, Riley's hustle won us a game the other day, because if it's not for him, we probably don't pull that out. Jeremy B says, I respect Snit, but I think this should be his final year. And you know, you may be right. I mean, again, it takes a certain amount of energy to do that. And you know, I think Snit's just might be at the end of his road. Jeremy V says, I don't think it's getting worse. Acuna just wants to play. I get it. Mm-hmm. Eric Parker says all drive-throughs are not the same. Donald's like Popeyes.
Crazy, bro.
Not wrong. He's not wrong though. He's not wrong at all.
He's not wrong.
My brother is referencing another show that we had, and you guys will just have to see one. I think that was about a month ago. It was it was hilarious. I'm not even going to get into it. We don't have the time. Jeremy says all, so I think he's in reference to another one he did. Jeremy says all Snit had to say was that it was unacceptable. We're going to talk about it in the press after the game. Yeah. And he's right. A1 forever. Eric, you crazy, yeah,
man, that man's crazy. I'm telling you,
my brother ain't wrapped too tight.
What's going on, King?
Fellas, what's good? What up, Richie?
Good.
Mike says, I think White winning the game proves it was the right decision.
Hello.
Yeah. And matter of fact, John sent me a text yesterday and was like, hey, man, can we just have White play for Kelly? Well, he did. I'm not going to say what he said, but that.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah. John and I are old dudes, so we talk very frankly. Sometimes our language is colorful, but essentially the crux of what he was saying was, do we really need Kelnick at this point? You know, let's just put.
What's the advantage? Like, Eli's going to hit you over 150, right? I mean,
right.
He's going to play stellar defense. He's fast. He can steal. He can.
He can do everything that Kelnick can't.
Yep.
Kelnick can't.
Bro. Dude, you're giving him I know we're still, it's April 24th, but there's no signs of life. That's you know what I mean? I know we said this about Ozuna a few years ago, but like we said, on a few shows before, Ozuna had the back of the baseball card to say hey, this may come around though.
Yeah.
Kelnick
that don't say that on the back of Kelnick.
No, it says hasn't come around yet. So
that thing wondering if it can be determined, not to be. Exactly. Can it be determined?
No, I wish it would. Like I say, I don't hate the dude. I would love for him to be really good. It's just not happening at the moment. So
it's not, and it's looking like it's not going to happen. Michael brings up a good point. Michael brings up a very good point. And again, it's not the savvy folks like us or anybody in the chat, but to the folk that don't know any better, this does put a spotlight on Acuna, right? Now, here's the thing. Acuna's coming off 2 ACLs. So he might not be able to run like he did prior to, right? And the thing about this blowing up is there going to be some folks that are like, oh, well, you called out Kelnick. You're not hustling, which if you know Acuna, you know that's not true. They probably have to hold Acuna back, right? But coming off 2 knee injuries, I'm sorry, he might have to dial it back a bit, right? He might have to. But that is, some of these things are just unintended consequences. You may have people to say that. Let me tell you something. Twitter is a wonderful place, but it is also the underworld, right? Because you have trolls and troglodytes there that are just assholes. I saw this guy going in, and I'm not talking about the conversation that we had about where they were getting on Michael Harris, but there was another guy when Michael was struggling that was like, oh, Michael Harris, and they were doing all of his stats from this year, and I'm saying, asshole.
Dude,
the last 2 or 3 years, he's been great. Michael goes through a stretch like this every year where he might suck for about 3 or 4 weeks, and then he's on fire. Matter of fact, if Harris had stayed healthy last year, he may have won a Gold Glove and some other things if he had been healthy for the entire year, right? Once Harris gets going, he's going. But if you don't follow the sport and you're a negative person in general, you fall for stuff like this. And the one thing about Twitter that you got to be careful is there are people out there who just want to bitch and moan. They don't want anything to get better. They just want to bitch and moan, right? They posted something about Michael Harris about 2 weeks ago, and John and Chris, I had to hold myself back. I did. I'm telling you, I was 5 seconds from sending that tweet, but in the back of my mind, I was like, if you send this, you're going to be here all day.
Oh, yeah.
You know what's going to happen, and then you're going to get mad, and you're going to follow up, and you're going to give these assholes your entire day. Now, I'm going to tell you something. When Harris reaches 300, I keep receipts. I'm going to bring up some of these old tweets, and I'm going to say, hey, all you assholes, and I'm going to use that exact colloquialism. I'm going to say, all you assholes that has something to say about Michael Harris, where are you now? Right? Caption me doing like, I'm going to do that. Because what incenses me is when you pile on a player, and my brother and I agree, that doesn't help anybody. No. Even Kelnick. Kelnick knows he sucks right now.
Absolutely.
Kelnick knows he's freaking booty meat. He knows he's awful. Okay? But Kelnick wants to win. Kelnick wants to play. What do I look like going on Twitter saying, oh, Kelnick, you suck big donkey hooters, man. You're awful. You're just It doesn't help anybody, right? It's not going to help him feel good. It's not going to help him perform any better. Nothing good comes out of it, yet you continue to see that stuff. And most of these cowards that do it, you don't see faces.
No. And if look, I can't interact with 80% of baseball Twitter because like you said, like if you're living pitch, like if you're living per at bat or even per game in some instances, or hell, series, like baseball's a different sport, man. Like guys go through slumps all the time. Like stars go through slumps all the time. The best of the best, and Freddie said it, Chipper said it, is the guys who can figure out what's wrong and correct it faster than other guys can.
Yes.
Or they're in their head. But that's how that's what separates the elite stars to the good players, to the average players, to the not so good players. The worst MLB player is still one of the best players in the world. You know what I mean? And they're still busting their ass most of the time because look, there's low A, there's high A, there's double A, there's triple A, there's independent ball. There's guys all over the place trying to make it in the league and trying to get to the league. So if they're there for a reason. It's not because a name or anything. They've done something to get there. They've achieved something. It's just a different level. So when they struggle like that, like you said, there's no point. There's no good. Like they know. Trust me, it's a hard ass game. I mean, I watched my son do it all like for the last however many years, right? I mean, he's a pitcher, but they go through some serious struggles too, you know. And it's like it's up and down. It's a roller coaster, you know. And it's a mentally challenging, tough game. So like you know, when you get on there and dog them, that's when we had the whole show about social media. When y'all did the show, and I actually joined the show, which was phenomenal, by the way. If y'all didn't see that show, go back and watch it. T had a show. Y'all, it was just a pop up show.
Yeah.
That y'all did. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's about social media and sports and like how you know, and it was fantastic. But like that just, I mean, it doesn't do anybody any good, man. The athletes, I mean, if they have social media, they're going to hear it. Somebody's going to tell them. They got friends, they got family members that see it. Like, this doesn't make any sense, man.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It is crazy, and all I'm saying is it doesn't help. And it just what made me think about it was I was on there. I'm sending something out, and I for whatever reason, there's this one guy that posts stuff, and whenever he posts it, I'm the lucky receiver of it, and he's way off, John. Like, oh, Harris sucks, or this guy. And I'm saying to myself, dude, where have you been for the last 5, 6? Where have you been? You can't be a Braves fan, right? You can't look it. Baseball's 162 games. You're gonna win 50, you're gonna lose 50. The difference is what you do with those last 50. Every team is gonna win 50, every team is gonna lose 50. The difference is that last 62, what do you do with it? Do you win more of those, then you lose? And at the end of the day, when it's playoffs time, you know, who's playing the best? Anyway, look it. John, I know you got to leave in a couple of minutes. We talked. Braves did win, you know, the series, and that's great. But of course, John, this is draft day. Chris, this is draft day. John, give me your thoughts on who you think the Falcons are taking with pick 15. Are they taking a pick? Are they trading down? In your mind's eye, what do you think they're doing?
Well, I've been wrong every year for 30 years. So I don't think I've ever picked the first round pick in my life. Because they just, I mean, it never fails. Like they always go a different direction than what I think they're going to do. But I think we're safe. I think we're safe to say it's going to be a defensive player this year. I like the idea of trading back a few spots and picking up some more draft capital because we could use it if that possibility is there. I don't want to go past Green Bay because Green Bay kind of looking for the same type of guys we're looking for. So it'd be in that, you know, up to 21 range probably. You can sell me on 2 or 3 guys. Like I'm good with Mike Green. You want to go? I mean, tenacious, motor doesn't stop. You can sell me on Mikael Williams, longer arms, you know, hurt last year. Shamar Stewart doesn't really have the, you know, I heard Shockley talking about it. Like, yeah, he doesn't have the stats, but man, measurables are insane. You know, fits the scheme. Maybe the scheme wasn't conducive to him at Texas A&M. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I understand it, but I mean, you know, we've seen guys with insane measurables just crap out in the league. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, look, everybody thought Xavier Clowney was going to be the next Lawrence Taylor. I mean, you know, and I mean, he's been a good player, a serviceable player, but not a star. You know what I mean? So, I'm good with any of those top edges, man. Whoever their top edge is, or you know, look, if the edges are gone, they want to go with somebody like a Swiss Army knife, like Malachi or something like that from Malachi Starks. Hey, that's cool too. Like just pick somebody impactful, man. Just pick an impactful defensive player.
Yeah, agreed.
Oh, that's right.
Chris, how you feeling about it, man? How you feeling, brother?
I'm feeling multiple different ways, honestly. You know, I mean, we know what's been in the past, and I'm just thinking about the comments that Terry Fontenot said yesterday, even with him about saying, "Oh yeah, I'm aggressive. I trade up," and I'm just like, okay, you're trying to drive me crazy, is what you're trying to do, Terry. But But honestly, again, I feel like we should trade back. I've been on the trade back train the entire time. No point in me changing my stance on draft day. So I still hope that we can find partners that we can dance with to trade back. I know the Chargers, they would be ideal. They have like a plethora of picks today. So it would be interesting to, you know, to trade back maybe into, you know, 20, 21, 22, somewhere in that area and still be able to get a good player. But if there are no offers and we have to stay at 15, I feel like we should take the best edge rusher possible. I know John Abraham, and you guys make sure you go back and check out our interview with John Abraham from the other night. He's high on Mike Green. You know, I even set up a scenario for him where I said start, bench, and cut, and he said start Mike Green. And the other two guys that I named was James Pierce Jr. and Michael Williams. So he benched Michael and he cut James. So I'm just saying that's the guy that, you know, made an impact on our defense, and the last guy for almost been over a decade. So I'm just saying he's high on Mike Green. So we'll see if we go in that direction. I still like Donovan Izaraku, but we'll see though. It's gonna be interesting. Just give me some defense, man. Make this a dirty draft and give me some defense. Give me some trenches. I don't want none of that style and pop stuff that we've been doing. You know, so it's time to get ugly.
Agreed. Yeah,
Okay.
bad guys win championships. I agree. I'll tell you what though. The one thing that stood out to me, and guys, Chris is right. If you guys haven't seen that interview with John Abraham, great interview. You need to check it out. One thing that stuck out to me about that interview, Chris, that John said, he said, you know, I didn't like working out in front of people because I had social anxiety. You know, he said I had people staring at me and telling me I needed to do this and I needed to do that, and that wasn't necessarily the case. So I didn't like it. And you know what? Maybe that could have rubbed some folks the wrong way, right? Because look, we don't know why people do what they do, right? I'm about to say something, and you guys are not gonna believe this. You are not gonna believe this. You're gonna think I'm so full of caca. But I am a very shy person. Shut up, Chris. I'm a very shy
I wasn't even gonna say nothing. I guess I ain't have to.
I know what you were thinking. I'm a very shy person. When I am initially around people, it takes me a while. I have to work up the courage to do it. I really do. Now, once I start, I'm not gonna shut up. But it takes me a while to get my motor running. But I thought to myself, I wonder if there have been some reporters that were like, oh, I don't like this guy. And he wasn't blowing you off. The guy was just socially awkward, right? He didn't feel confident. You know what I mean? And there are some people that have social anxiety. That is a real thing, right? And it was interesting to me how he talked about that, you know, if I could have done it over, I probably would have endeared myself to more reporters to get into the Hall of Fame. He said, because ultimately that's what it's about. And I'm thinking to myself, you know what? He's absolutely right. You know, even if you look at baseball, if you look at Barry Bonds, it is well known that Barry Bonds was an asshole to reporters. He really was. Because if you know Barry's history, you know that his father was also a baseball player. And reporters basically, towards the tail end of his dad's career, ran him out of town. And Barry very much grew up with a chip on his shoulder, like, oh, y'all did that to my dad. I bet you won't do that to me. Right. And so it's impacting him now because nobody's letting him into the Hall of Fame. Now, look, you can argue PEDs all you want, and I'm not going to say you're right or wrong. What I will say is, in my day, in my era, Barry Bonds is the best player I've ever seen play, and it's not even close. I didn't see Hank Aaron because I was 3 or 4 by the time he was. I didn't see Hank Aaron. I saw Barry Bonds. I saw Barry Bonds do stuff nobody else can do to this day, and that is one pitch every night, looking forward in the right spot. Boom, it's gone. I saw Barry do that. Barry's the greatest player I've ever seen. But guess what? He's not in the Hall of Fame. Now, again, Barry does deserve the onus of that. But my point and what I'm saying is, guys, sometimes we can make assessments or snap assessments of people, and they may not be right. Because what I got from Abraham, and Chris, you can speak to this, he talked about how he had gone to therapy, but he doesn't let certain things bother him anymore, but they bothered him a lot during his career. Right? You remember that, Chris?
Definitely. The thing about it is, and another thing I just loved about that interview, it wasn't just football. We talked plenty of football.
Life. Yeah.
But he talked about life.
Yeah.
He talked about how he didn't know how to manage his money when he was in New York. You know, coming in as a football player. Again, like I said, it's something that you should check out just because it's more than just football. He really conveyed some of his personal thoughts, feelings, previous thoughts and feelings and everything. So definitely check it out. But yeah, man, this is like about having the social anxiety and everything now. That's another reason why he tries to mingle with the fans and people even more, because there was a part-time to where he couldn't do that, or he wouldn't do that, should I say.
Right.
Mhm.
So, you know what I'm saying? So in therapy, no one is above it. No one is above it. Mental health is very important. No one is above therapy. I have, so I know plenty of people that's doing it, and I don't think it's a bad thing. You know, some
Therapy is
people,
great.
some people, try to down it or try to say, oh, so you gotta do all that, whatever, man. At the end of the day, do what's best for you so you can find your peace. At the end of the day,
Bro.
that's what I'm at with it.
Yes. Yeah, bro. I got OCD, and OCD is the worst, bro. I can't leave my house without locking the damn door 3 times. I can't leave my car without clicking the alarm 3 damn times. I count if I buy fries, I count every single fry. Yes, I do. I can't help it. I don't even know why. All right. But in therapy, you learn certain techniques, right? One thing about OCD, you're not going to get rid of it. So you learn how to manage it. And I would say to anybody, all of us have a little issue going on, and we all need therapy, right? If you bump your elbow, if you break a bone, you go to a doctor, right? If you got a cold or a virus that's bad enough, you go to a doctor. Well, guess what? The mind is the same way. So I agree 100%. Gentlemen, this has really been fun this morning. John, I know you got about 6 more minutes. If you could, John, let's talk about, do you feel like the Braves are back now? Do you feel like we've kind of righted the ship? Or do you still feel like with the bullpen being, sometimes up, sometimes down,
Mhm.
how are you feeling about this team right now?
I feel definitely better than. I mean, we have to feel better, right? I mean, like, couldn't have been much worse. We only had to go up. We were 0-7, so we had to get better.
Right.
But it's good to see guys hitting. Riley's coming around, smashing the ball. Drake Baldwin, man, real deal, man. If y'all seen his heat map, he's hitting everywhere. He's hitting all over the zone. Like, it's Sean Murphy, my God. Like, I mean, just
Wow.
he's on the freaking heater right now. Both those guys playing good defense behind the plate. Again, RC, man, I appreciate what you've done for us, buddy, but just it's time for you. Nick Allen's got to play shortstop. I mean, seeing him try to get the balls, you're so slow, dude. It's just so slow. Like
Very slow. He is.
Nick's getting to both of those balls. Like he may not be, but he's going to at least keep it in the infield.
You're right.
And he's getting on base. And Nick's he's career like 200 hitter, but hey, look, he's doing better now. So like you keep him in the lineup anyway. Yeah, and what Jeremy said is true. I mean, like, turns out Dollar Tree bullpen's not the way to go about it. We've got some good guys in the back end. Iglesias I'm a little bit worried about Iglesias. I'm not gonna lie. 4 homers already. Like, he gave up 4 homers in 60 some odd games last year.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I mean, I did like what I saw. Days Ball has looked pretty good. Like, I like what I'm seeing from him. Kimbrel's in AAA now. Maybe he comes up, makes an impact on this bullpen. See how long he stays in Gwinnett. Some of the guys I feel pretty good about. Some of the guys I'm a little iffy on. De Los Santos was a little shaky. They're up and down. Like you said, they're just a little bit inconsistent right now. But it's tough. Like, some days, that's just the life of a pitcher. Some days they got it, sometimes they don't. But I mean, we need to have guys have it more than not, and we need to have our starters. We need to have our starters go 6-7 innings if they possibly can. I mean, we shit on Bryce Elder, but my God, that was hard to, dude.
Man,
I mean,
I could not believe it. We had a pitcher's duel with Bryce Elder in it.
There was 8. Look, at some point during that game yesterday, there was 8 swings and misses. That's it from both sides.
Mm-hmm.
It was the least amount. They said it was the least amount the entire season.
Mm-hmm.
But you can win that way, like Bryce has shown. But he's got to be,
keep the ball down. He's got to
you got to keep it down for sure. But man, like, it was like Liam texted me during. I guess he was watching the game during the school, which good for him if he has time to do that. But he texted me and was like, I think it was 4 innings in. He was like, dude, like, Elder's allergic to clean innings, and I was like, yeah, I mean, it's either a walk or a hit or multiple walks every inning. Like, there's somebody on base, and it's like, but you look up at the end of the day, it's like, 6 innings and 1 run. Like, how did you do that? Like, it's like
double plays. And I tell you what else he did. He threw the 2-seamer more, and he was able to get that 2-seamer up. So if you throw a sinker, if you got a pitch that they have to respect, then that sinker becomes a lot better. Yeah. Because if you can't get anything over the plate that's up, they're just going to spit on that sinker. But if you got a pitch that comes out of your hand that half the way it looks the same as the sinker, they gotta respect it, and that's what he did.
Hey, good point.
Yeah,
So
Good
and
point.
that first inning worried the shit out of me because he was spiking his fastball, and I'm like, "Oh my god, like, this is
Yeah.
gonna be a long day." And then he figured it out though. So, but
Yeah.
overall, I feel better. Like I said, we're gonna have a tough matchup with Arizona out there. We should be okay with Colorado. Should be, it sucks. Strider. Well, we didn't mention Strider, but Strider strained his freaking hamstring just playing toss.
Yeah, playing
Uh,
toss. That was
I
terrible.
mean, you got tree trunk legs, buddy. I know you like yoga. You got to keep stretching, keep those things loose.
yeah, yeah.
But
Fact.
What they
but
call him? Quadzilla? Isn't that his nickname?
yeah, man.
Quadzilla,
But
man.
so hopefully he's not gone too long because we don't. I mean, we'll probably see AJ back up. I would imagine during this next. I mean, we're gonna have to. With Low down and Lopez down, obviously, and Strider being down again, bring him back up for a start probably. So feeling better. I'm not like super at ease, but definitely more optimistic than we were.
Yeah. See, for me, I know exactly like John said, we started 0-7. It was nowhere up from there. I mean, well, of course, you could have continued to be in a downward spiral, But honestly, I feel like this Braves team is too good to keep down toward the bottom of should I say the league. So how I'm feeling is how I've always felt, guys, and I'm optimistic. Yeah. Now our bullpen. Now we all talked about this. We was all concerned about our bullpen coming into the season.
Yeah.
So I mean, so to be going through what we're going through, it's really no point in getting upset because you kind of seen it. But ultimately, I feel like the Braves are doing what I said do. I know I put it in the chat a few days ago or whatnot, and I was like, man, Braves just got to keep trying to win series. If
Yeah.
they're 3-game series, get you 2. They're 4-game series, try to get you 3,
There you
and at least split. Because you can start stacking wins and start stacking series wins like that. You start climbing back up into the standings, and that's slowly what I feel like they're kind of doing. 2 series wins in a row. Arizona will be tough, but if you can some kind of way go out there and at least be competitive there, and maybe like steal a game or 2, I still feel like that's a good thing. Braves again, like I said, started off 0-7, and then right now we're like 10-14. So again, we're since then we're over 500, technically. So you think about that too as well. I mean, 10-7. So
yeah, man.
Yeah, and I think
I'm optimistic.
Yeah, and I think the understated part of this too is just the confidence for the players. Because they were down, man. Like when they came back into town, Riley did an interview with 680. It was a scheduled interview that he had, and he just sounded like defeated. Like they sounded like they were pressing, like they had to have something happen. And then luckily, they had 2, like you said, 2 series wins. So like that's just mass. They can relax a little. They can take a breath. They can be like, okay, we don't suck. You know what I mean? Like
we just got to get it together.
Yeah, right. And now we just go out there and just play ball. And it says that's if you're out there playing tight and you're not going to win. You're not going to succeed. So just massive for their confidence. So they know like, okay, look, this is us. Now we now let's go. So I expect to see him continuing it, man. Especially get Ronald back, and we got to get Ozzie hitting though. Got to get Ozzie hitting.
Ozzie's very streaky, and thank you for bringing that up, John, because that's
Ozzie waiting on Ron, bro. What you mean? You know that already.
Ozzie is a and he's been this way. Look, Ozzie can carry you for about 3 weeks.
Yeah, it can.
But then he's gonna come back and kill you for about 3 weeks.
Some of the ABs, you're like, oh.
If it's me, Snit has to recognize, okay, Ozzie's going through it and move him down. That's the one thing I would say. Ozzie can't be at 6 right now hitting. No. Ozzie may need to be at 7 or 8. Now, when he starts clicking again, okay, then you move him up. But I agree with you 100%, John. Ozzie is a very streaky player. The thing about Ozzie, though, if Ozzie is healthy, Ozzie's gonna hit you 30 home runs. He's gonna drive in 100 runs. You can book him for that. But he is an extremely streaky person, right? Extremely streaky. So he's either really
watch
high,
when Ron come back.
Really low. Yeah.
Watch when Ron come back.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what's going to be interesting, right? Verdugo's playing pretty decent.
He is.
So when Ronnie comes back, and then about 80 games into, or whenever Profar comes back, I wonder what that dynamic is going to be. That's like, so when Profar does come back, let's say Verdugo's doing well and Ronnie's doing well and Harris is doing well. Do you play Profar or do you sit him?
Nah, you gotta sit, bro.
Is he gonna ride the line the rest of the year? Like, like
He might.
what do you guys think
If,
about it? Right?
Oh man, if those three guys are performing, you don't take them out. You don't take
No.
Verdugo out. You don't take hey man, whether you no, that's just a situation. Like we're paying you, but I mean, you know what? I mean, I'm not
Profar
gonna
can
do it.
pinch hit, John. Profar can come in and pinch hit.
Yeah, he can pinch hit, run for people. I mean,
run for people.
If we're talking about it, like Michael just said, if we're talking about that, that's a great problem to have, man. We're worried about a fourth outfielder not having somewhere to go.
Right.
I mean,
Excellent
Kelnick's going to be out of a job. Stuart Fairchild's going to be out of a job. So I mean, which is fine.
Which is kind of like what we're kind of like want anyway. You know what I'm saying? With those two guys, kind of being out of a job.
Yeah, and Verdugo only has the one option to go down, right? So he's going to be here unless we're either going to cut him or he's going to be on the MLB team.
Correct.
So,
there you go.
So
I don't, especially look at Ronnie coming off of a very serious injury. You got to keep somebody around that can play.
Yep,
is not just a bench player that can play. Verdugo's not going anywhere. We know Harris is not going anywhere. I agree. Stewart is probably for some reason I want to call him Stuart Little. I'm sorry, but Stewart, whatever his name is.
T-Wil's a bully.
I know it. I'm wrong. Y'all forgive me. I'm wrong. But Stewart's the first to go, and then maybe Kelnick. I feel bad for Kelnick because it's not like he's not trying.
100%.
Right. That was the other thing about that whole with him not running out. Kelnick plays with his hairs on fire. Kelnick gives effort. That's the one thing I will say about him. He's not out there dogging it, right? Yeah. So, you root for the guy, but yeah, I agree. Probably he and Stuart Fairchild, that's his name. They're both probably on the first thing smoking when Ronnie comes back, or with Ronnie and Profar comes back, whatever. But yeah, well, John, look, man, I know you got a role as always, brother. We appreciate you joining us. You are the other half of the Morning Chop Shop. Hey, man, it's Thursday night. It's the draft, and from what I'm hearing in these streets, Chris, from what I'm hearing in these streets, are the rumors true, John? Is Out of Your Falcon Mind making a comeback tonight? Are you guys doing a show on the draft? Is that what I'm hearing?
That is 100% correct. We are back tonight. Yeah, man, we are back tonight. Just for tonight. We don't know what's going to happen after that, but yeah, Mike and I'll be back. We're probably going to start the show early, probably 6:45, 7, because we got catching up to do anyway. We missed everybody, so we're going to be. We haven't done a show this entire off season, so we're going to be talking about the stuff that's went on this off season. Of course, the draft. Y'all know Mike doesn't have a clue of who we're going to draft or who the people even are, so we're going to talk probably not as much about the draft until other people join the show. But I'm gonna tell Mike about these people. We may look at some video. I'm gonna send him some video here in a few minutes so he can kind of like get brushed up on a few guys that we may take. But that's just Mike. He doesn't watch college, but no, we're gonna have a great show, man. It's gonna be fun. We'll have guys coming through. I'm gonna send a link to you guys. I know y'all gonna be on your own shows, but you're welcome to come through and say hey earlier in the show if y'all want to come pop in. More than welcome to. Mike and I, we talk almost every day, but oddly enough, we've only spoke about the Falcons a couple of times this offseason, like the Grady Jarrett thing, the Kirk Cousins thing. I'm sorry, Dirk Smudgeons, my bad. And so it'll be a lot of Falcons catching up, to be honest, for both of us. So, but it'll be cool, man, to see people back in the chat and be able to talk with everybody. So we're looking forward to it, man. But yeah, 6:45ish, somewhere around there, we'll be live. So, man, yeah, hopefully everybody can come by and say hey. We'd appreciate it.
I'm definitely gonna make an effort. It'll probably be real early.
That's fine, man.
Yeah, same.
We're going live at 7, but hey, man, Chris and I, we're not gonna let you get back on the air and not come see about you, John. Hey, man, I love it. The world is a better place when your show is on the air, and I'm just happy to see it, brother. Y'all know how I feel about y'all personally.
Much appreciated, man.
Great, man. Hey, man, tell these folks where they can find you, John.
Yeah, so y'all come on by tonight, Out of Your Falcon Mind on YouTube. Say what's up, and like I said, look, and if there's one time A1. Smitty, everybody's doing a show. Berto, like y'all go say hey to everybody, man. I mean, just like I said, if y'all want to watch whatever show y'all want to watch, put it on ESPN, but turn the damn volume down. Like Larry always says, turn the volume down, turn us up, We'll be talking about the Falcon. We'll be talking about the whole draft. But Mike will probably peace out around after we pick. But I'll be there all night with other folks and stuff like that. So, but yeah, Out of Your Falcon Mind on YouTube, Out of Your Effing Mind on Twitter. If you want to follow Morning Chop Shop on Twitter, feel free. I do about 2 tweets a week right now from that account. Yeah, that's about it, man. So catch us every week. Wednesday or Thursday, right? So yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Well, hey,
Great stuff, man.
We'll see you tonight, John, man.
Yes,
hey,
sir.
hopefully we can all talk about a good draft, right?
Exciting times.
Player. Let's
yes,
do it.
Please. Impactful players. All we need, buddy. Just somebody's going to step in and contribute day one. That's what we need. So, fellas, y'all have a great one, man. We'll see y'all tonight.
Yes, sir. Later.
Same. My God, Chris, man.
Yeah, man.
And I ain't been on the show with you in about a week, man. What's going on, man? What's going on, man? We got some, look, Chris, we got some stuff we got to talk about. You thought I forgot. I didn't, man.
What you mean? What's going on?
I'm off work today, so we're going to talk about this, Chris. Hey, man, we got to do the full thing today. This is for my ATL, everything, as Kerry was saying last night. Bro, we got to talk about these Hawks, man. So, look it. They fired Landry Fields.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess my question is, what did they expect, right? And you cover the Hawks. Mm-hmm. You are a Hawks guy. You are my guy that I go to for everything Hawks. But I need you to explain to me, when JJ went down, like, what did they think was going to happen? What's the metric? What's in the secret sauce that caused them to look at Landry Fields and say, this guy ain't it? All right, because he definitely won the Dyson Daniels trade.
Well, to be honest with you, I think, and this is just my personal feelings here. My personal feelings are, I think this year was really, but whether people realize it or not, I think this year was Landry Fields' like hot seat year, and a lot of people didn't even realize it. And the thing about it is, you look at it and you like, he made the Dyson Daniels trade, and you like, okay, great. So we got off of some salary, DeAndre Hunter, Bogey. Okay, great. But at the end of the day, we still didn't make the playoffs. We lost in the play-in. Now, his argument can be like, look, man, we had plenty of guys that got injured, which is true. In both of those play-in games, it was visibly clear that you saw at least 5-6 guys in street clothes that we could have used in some of those games, with Jalen Johnson, Clint Capella being some of those guys. Kobe Buffkin, former first rounder. I think coming into the season, this was Landry Fields' hot seat year. Jalen Johnson going down hurt it so much, because Landry Fields would still be here if we was in the playoffs. I really believe that. If we were in the playoffs right now playing, even it don't matter what the record would be, if you 0-2, 2-0, whatever, I still think Landry Fields would at least been the GM. And I think Landry Fields was banking on his moves to basically extend his job, because the young man who is in the office now, Anzi Salah, was hired before we traded for Dyson Daniels, before we traded away DeAndre Hunter and everything. And why was he brought in? Because he was coming in to help with the salary cap. The report was to come in and help with salary cap, team building, roster building, et cetera, even flow throughout the organization. I said to myself then, that is not a good thing. I remember it was crazy, because I was actually working with a client who used to work for the Golden State Warriors and work with them in their front office. And it was crazy because all that was coming down at the same time. And I was asking, what do you think about this, sir? And then he was just like, well, in my professional experience, when they got to bring in a guy to help the guy, that's not too good. And I was like, my thoughts exactly. So the writing was kind of on the wall. You got an assistant, then you also had Kyle as an assistant, and you have this particular guy who is good with numbers, good with cap coming in. That wasn't a good look. So again, just everything that I just painted the picture on, it was surprising that it happened so soon, but with the wrestlers, you obviously can see that it's just like, all right, um, what are we gonna do? Because it's time to start doing something now. You see Trey Young, he wants to win, and he wants to win championships. He wants to win in Atlanta, but most importantly, he wants to win championships somewhere. And this is the last year he wants to be out of the playoffs. I mean, he even made a post saying, "Hey, this will be my last year where I do not make the playoffs." So you can take that for what it is, whether if it's cryptic, whether it's not, saying you make your own decisions on that. But Landry Fields, man, I think again, he banked on Jalen Johnson, he banked on Dyson, Zach, everybody panning out to at least be able to get us to the playoffs, and injuries absolutely hindered us. And I think if we didn't have those injuries, we would be in the playoffs. And if we was in the playoffs, we would still have Landry Fields. But because it didn't work out that way, it was like, all right, your plan didn't work. Now we're about to do our own plan. Thank you for your time.
Hmm. Do you think
I know that was a lot. My bad.
No. I asked for it, so hey, not your fault. Do you think this Hawks ownership group is stable? And I say that because there have been numerous examples of them making, I don't want to say harebrained decisions, but decisions that were clearly not in the best interest of the team. You trade Herter, you trade this guy because you don't want to pay the salary cap. They
Yeah.
don't seem to be the most stable of organizations. And I gotta ask, can we really win with this group, right? Because what disappoints me about the Landry Fields, and you say he didn't win, that's fine. But Landry Fields made moves that I hadn't seen the Hawks make in a long time. Because he not only was able to trade, but he got pieces back that fit into Quinn's system. For like a brief moment, for like a 2.5 month period, we saw the Hawks really begin to get it going before guys got injured. We saw them really begin to play. And I feel like you bring another GM in there, and maybe he is a capologist. Maybe he's a whiz with the cap. But if he doesn't understand the X's and O's, what difference does it make, right?
Well, the thing about it, and that's another reason, another thing too, because Anzi was your president of operations or basketball operations, and now he's moving to the GM role. And you can also make the argument Anzi was hired back in May of last year. You can make the argument, was the Dyson Daniels trade fully Landry Fields? Did Anzi have a say in it? I mean, that's just something. I know I'm speculating and kind of like, I know that's a little bit being a little messy, but at the same time, you're going to have people out there wondering about that now because of just how fast Landry Fields have been let go. Like I said, it shocked me that Landry was let go, especially the fact that he did exit interviews and everything. So I did not think that Landry was gone this year. Was the seat going to get a little hot? Yes, I did think that. But I mean, at the end of the day, I'm excited about the future because I know that this business is about relationships. And maybe Landry did not have the relationships within the league, being an experienced GM or just an experienced figure coming from a dominant organization, anything like that. Maybe he just didn't have the experience to bring in certain pieces or have certain players to be able to come in. That's why you're starting to see, okay, Anzi is the GM. All right, cool, salary cap, team building, roster building, et cetera, et cetera. That's fine. But who is going to be your president of basketball operations? Who's going to be that guy that can walk in there and close the deal? Elton Brand has been named. Elton Brand's a former basketball player. We know he used to play for the Hawks for a little brief stint and everything. Would play, I think, about 19 years in the league, 17 years in the league. Regardless, he has the relationships. But can he, is he going to be like the guy for you? Who knows? Also, in a video that I got to drop soon, too, there's another rumor about a guy named Bob Myers. We already know who Bob Myers is, former GM for the Golden State Warriors. Somebody that, helped bring them 4 championships. Somebody who also worked alongside Anzi Salah. And so And Anzi has 2 championships in his own right. So
Who did he win the championships with?
Golden State. He was because that's where Anzi came from. Anzi came from Golden State as well. When he left them and came to the Hawks from Golden State.
Hmm.
So and before that, he spent 5 years with the Spurs. So again, like I said, relationships. I'm just thinking about it from the totality of all of that. If you bring in Bob Myers, I mean, he got Kevin Durant. Basically, what I was about to say is not he's going to bring in Kevin Durant. What I'm saying is he has a relationship with high-profile players. Maybe somebody will take a little less to come to Atlanta if they're talking to Bob Myers. I'm just saying, like, relationships do matter. And I know that's one guy. There's also other guys too. I think the Tim Connolly, Minnesota Timberwolves GM. It could be a possibility about him. I think he has an option to where he can opt out of his contract. So that could be another option as well. But regardless, the Hawks, they have hired also an organization to help them find the best candidate for this. And Tony Ressler has said that he's willing to pay top dollar for this because he wants the organization to go into a different direction. We'll see what happens with that. So again, it's going to be interesting this offseason to see what happens, what direction the Hawks go with everything as far as the draft, everything. So it's going to be interesting, man. Get ready for a hot offseason, I think, one way or another.
Well, I'll tell you what, today is definitely going to be an interesting day, my friend. I know we have talked about this for the past 2 months, and we've been looking forward to it, and today is the day. So let's close with this, Chris. Finish this sentence for me. The Falcons will have a successful draft if
they make it ugly. If they make it ugly, man, they get in those trenches and go get impact players that you can play right now, who are ready to step in and make a difference. I'm not saying put all your eggs in the basket on a rookie, but I'm just saying it's not like we haven't seen it happen before, especially even with this organization. We've been able to draft and get 3 starters out of a draft and go make plays and go do some things. Time to go do that again, man. It's time to go get some difference makers, some guys that can be pieces to help other pieces on this team so we can just work as a whole unit and go kick some ass, man. Like, for real. That's what we need to do.
Definitely got to do that. We got to do some housekeeping before we leave. Jerry V, welcome to the show, man. I don't think I've ever seen you in here, but welcome to the show. We're glad to have you. Please feel free to come back. Again, the name of this network is For My ATL Sports 1 on YouTube. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe, as we would love to have you back. You got a lot of questions. Seems like you're really passionate about the Braves, and hey,
yes, sir.
Love that.
Love it.
We're gonna get to your comments. So because he hit on some things. He said, really hope Sale can lock in. I hope so too. The velocity's been there, but maybe he's got a back or something that's ailing him, because it just looks like at times, he's been inconsistent and he can't necessarily locate certain pitches. So I think it may be a situation where maybe he's hurting a little bit. But because Raylo is down and Strider is down, he's like, I just got to pitch through it. So maybe that's it. I think that's what's going on. Not sure. Jeremy V says Ozzy has always been streaky. Such an aggressive. Yeah, he's very streaky.
Yeah, aggressive swinger. Yes, he is.
Mike says sounds like a good problem to have. I think he was talking about comments. Jeremy V says we need to somehow keep getting Baldwin and bats. Yeah, agreed.
Yes, I agree.
Agreed. Michael says, does Profar replace Orlando? I don't think so, because I don't think at this point in his career that he really has the range to be a shortstop. I think he's pretty much going to deal with Nick Allen. Look, if Nick Allen can hit 250 and play great defense, he's already ahead of Arcia, number one, because Arcia is slow, and number two, because Arcia's, he might hit you 15, but he's going to hit 212, right? And he's going to strike out in some very key situations, and you just can't have that. Carrie says, awesome show. Deke says, good morning, T-Will and A1 from day one. Deke.
Thank you, Deke. What's good?
Michael Lahusky, hi guys. Hawks are never relevant. Ah, come
We
on,
got
Mike.
we gotta change that. I mean, he's not lying. The thing about it, do I like it? No. But do I have to respect that comment? Yes,
Agree.
because we haven't been relevant. We need to do some things. So it's just like we have to change that. I don't like that, and we have to change that.
We definitely got to change it, and maybe this new GM is our way of doing it. I don't know. I'll defer to you on that one, Chris. Michael Lahusky says, I say somehow Rich McKay has his hands involved, and it could be.
Could be.
Mike says the Falcons and the Hawks management are giving me the same losing vibe. You know, I wouldn't put. I would. And maybe it's me. I wouldn't put the Falcons and the Hawks in the same. Right, because you can see the Falcons are trying. It doesn't always work out, but you can see the Falcons are trying. There are times I don't know what the hell the Hawks are doing. I just got to be honest.
Well, okay, and it depends on what lens you look through it from. You know what I'm saying? It depends on like how you looking at it. Like, do you look at it as, okay, man, the Hawks, you know what I'm saying? Another year, not the playoffs, you know what I'm saying? Back to back losses in the play in. My goodness, like, what are they doing? Or are you looking at it as, well, the Hawks do have some nice young pieces. If they can get those guys to develop even more, like Dyson Daniels, he took a big jump from where he was to what he is this year, considered for 2 awards, defensive player and most improved. Let's just be honest. If Jalen Johnson didn't get hurt, he probably been considered for most improved. Because he was averaging 20 and 10 when he went down. So that's another thing you got to think about. Zachary Ricochet, one of the only rookies to have multiple 30-point games. I understand that, you know what I'm saying, like some of those always didn't translate in wins and everything like that. Trey Young became more of a leader. I feel like he was more passive. He changed his game this year. He was more of a passive guard, even though he still shot the long shots and everything like that, and still led the league in turnovers. I still believe he took the risk of passing the ball more, trying to believe in his teammates. And that's something that a lot of fans have been wanting and waiting for him to do. So I mean, he did it. You know what I'm saying? End up with the most assists that he has in his career so far, and still averaged over 20 points.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it depends on what lens are you looking from it. From a salary cap standpoint, we're compliant there. We still have a I think 25 or 27 million dollar a trade exception that we can use to possibly get another player here. We have players to possibly make a trade and everything if we wanted to. We can do some things. We have some wiggle room, and we couldn't say that last year. At the end of last season, we couldn't say we had wiggle room to really do anything. We don't made trades. We don't did different things. So I feel like the foundation is there, and now we have to act on it. We can't just sit here and just say, "Oh, we cool now." No, we do have to go make moves and act on it. I feel like we're in a better situation this offseason than we were last offseason.
I hear that, but I'm looking at the perspective of if I want to pay a superstar to come to the Falcons or the Hawks, they're going to the Falcons 9 times out of 10.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
much easier to get a star to come to the Falcons than it is the Hawks, and you can't do anything but attribute that to management. So I get it, I understand, but if you're looking at the way the two franchises are run, it's not even close. Look, this is the first year that I can say that we've really seen growth with a player such as a Dyson or a Ricochet, because most of our rookies that we've not gotten much the past couple of years, and maybe you could argue, well, that's because you didn't play them, but you really didn't see a growth spurt. You didn't see a growth path. You didn't see them mature. You just did. Not
Mm-hmm.
from a rookie, not from the Hawks. You didn't see that. Jason Daniels has blossomed before our eyes, and yeah, I can see that. But this is relatively new. If we look at the lens of both franchises back 20 years, it's not even close, right?
Right.
Matter of fact, Michael, hey Mike, this is me giving you a hug, buddy. Mike says,
Right.
over 55 years of being a fan, just so beat up and tired of not winning. Hey, Mike, I got you, bro. I
All
got
right.
you. Hey, man, T-Will got you, bro. I get it. I understand. I'm
Yeah.
55 myself. I've been an Atlanta sports fan for 48 years. I get it, bro. I get
Yeah,
it. I
man.
understand. But Mike,
And that's another reason why I respect. That's another reason why I respect really both of you guys' opinion, because you guys have been fans of our teams longer than I've been alive on this earth.
yeah,
So I always respect people who have been here and who have been fans of all our Atlanta teams longer than me. And when they say, "Hey man, I'm tired of this and I'm tired of that," I always respect it because y'all have seen a lot worse in live person, in color, or sometimes not even in color
Yeah.
than I have. You know what I'm saying? So I totally get it. And hey man, I hate it as well. You know what I'm saying? Like seriously, just being an Atlanta fan for over 30 years now. So yeah, we've seen some tough times, but I do believe both organizations are trying to move in the right direction. I know that's hard because it seems like we've been doing that before, and then all of a sudden we just blow it up or we just falter. It just don't work out.
Yeah.
But again, if you look at both organizations, I mean, Michael Penix Jr. He is something to rave about. He is something to be optimistic about as far as the quarterback.
Yep.
The foundation and for the Hawks, I feel like they are in a better position. Let's just see what they do. Really, it's both teams. Let's see what they do. Tonight is prime time. I'm talking about the lights are bright. Let's see what the Falcons do in this first round. Let's see what the Falcons do the entire weekend.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
You
definitely.
know.
Like you say, it's about fat guys. You know, Scott says fat guys win championships. That's Scott Carissa.
Yeah.
It's about the big uglies this week, man. Look, we've seen what it did for the Eagles. We need to stock up that defensive line. We need a linebacker who can run. We need an edge rusher and maybe a safety or cornerback or two. And we are good on the offense. If maybe third, fourth round, you want to back up, you want to pick a backup center. I'm okay with that. But that is the only offense I want us to address this weekend. I don't want to address a tackle. You got Caleb McGarry for another year. That's next year's issue. The only pressing need on the offense is that backup center. My expectation is that everything else is going to be defense. Look, you need a big ugly. You need an edge rusher. You need a linebacker who can run and cover, and you need a safety. As far as corner is concerned, we got 6 corners. That's not necessarily a position of need, but yeah, safety, linebacker, defensive tackle, and edge, you definitely need. So that's what I'm looking for. I hope we can do that, and I'm excited about it. Either way, brother Chris, I know I'm going to see you at some night. It's
Yes,
going to be
sir.
a good night. You're going to have a lot of content creators probably jumping on each other's channels. I know you guys are going to be on our channel. So I'm looking
Yep.
forward to it, man. Hey, tell these folks where they can find you, and just tell them what you got coming up tonight, bro.
All right, man. Well, of course, tonight, join me and Smitty. We are going to be doing our draft party, man. I know tonight it's gonna we've invited some people, to come through if they want to. I mean, I know everybody's gonna be doing their own thing. So I get, may not be able to have everybody on, but
Right.
depending on what everybody's doing, yeah, we do plan on having some guests. So hopefully they're able to come through. We're gonna have fun, we're gonna talk some noise, how me and Smitty do. But yeah, so we're gonna be doing that. But you always can catch me at A1 Forever Sports, I'm saying, hey, Hawks, Braves, Falcons. I had to get on here, kind of warm up my voice a little bit, for tonight. And get back into the swing of things, uh being, it's like I ain't do any podcast or nothing yesterday. And shoot, the only reason why I did that day was because it was John Abraham. A buddy of mine said, "Boy, you was out there playing injured." I said, "Yeah, it's all good, man. At the end of the day, it's all about the dedication." But yeah, make sure y'all go check out that interview as well, man. John Abraham definitely dropped some jewels in that interview, so you can find that on A1 Forever Sports. And yeah, it's definitely worth a watch. And Hawks Digest as well, man. We are definitely, there's so many rumors going on swirling around the Atlanta Hawks right now. So much news, of course. The hottest buzz right now. Landry Fields relieved of his duties. Anzi Sala taking over. Hawks looking for a president of basketball operations. A lot of names being thrown around. A lot of rumors speculating around Trey Young and will he stay? Will he go? So it's just a lot to evolving around the Hawks off season. So you can definitely catch me over there. Me and Walter Pollard growing that channel and dropping news. I think Walter's about to drop a video today. Depending on what happened, I may drop a video today. We'll see. But a lot of things going on, man. So again, Twitter, Catch me on A1 Forever, Instagram A1 Forever, and the real A1 Forever on TikTok.
Amen, brother. Let's do it. Looking forward to it tonight, man. Hopefully,
Yeah.
a great draft. It's going to be so much fun. As a matter of fact, when I get off this show, man, I'm going to go out and get the snacks for tonight, probably clean up a little bit, and just really looking forward to it. I may hop on the show around 5 or so.
Okay.
And just, so you're welcome to hop on if you're available.
Okay.
I may not. It just depends. It just depends on how things line up. I may.
Mhm.
Yeah, man. Just want to get into it. Want to talk about it. Excited about it. Other than the Super Bowl and the Major League trade deadline, this is probably one of the most fun times. I make sure every year I'm always off for this day. I never work on this day. I never work on the Super Bowl. So I just think it's going to be a great day, man. I'm looking forward to it, bro. And look, hopefully we get good news tonight and all goes well. And we have a successful year and we make the playoffs. So, that's all we can ask. Looking forward to it. To those of you who joined us in the chat, thank you so much again. Those of you who are watching from Twitter, please, please, please come to YouTube and check us out. You can grab the link below, take a look at it. If you are so inclined, please like it, share, and subscribe. As the more subscribers we get, the more it drives up the desire for it in the algorithm, and the more content we get to bring you. So again, there's a lot of you in this chat from Twitter. Thank you. Appreciate you guys joining us. We couldn't do this without you, and we are definitely appreciative and looking forward to seeing you come back whenever that is. So again, thank you to everyone in the chat. I want to thank God for allowing me to be here. Would not be here without him. Woke me up this morning. Thank you, God. Thank you, Jesus. Appreciate it. Definitely want to thank my man A1. Definitely want to thank my guy John from Out of Your Falcon Mind. Definitely want to thank Miss Carrie, the best producer in the world, for jumping in the chat. Definitely want to thank Mr. Jack Spade, who we'll see later on today, and my brother Eric Parker for giving me my start in this business. And look here, to those of you out there in the world, to those of you out there in the chat, don't let anybody ever tell you what you can't do. Let me tell you something. You keep on pushing, you keep on going, and it doesn't matter how it looks. It doesn't matter if they don't see the vision. They don't have to understand it. That's why God gave it to you. Okay? So if you feel in your heart that you want to do something, you do it. You get out there and make it happen. Don't let anybody stop you, because let me tell you something. When you're gone, and the richest place on earth is the graveyard, because it's got all the dreams that were never realized. It's got all the cures for various diseases that were never realized, because folks put it off until tomorrow. Tomorrow's not promised to any of us. So if you really want to do something, if you want to podcast, if you want to play ball, if you want to write poetry, if you want to do whatever, hey man, get out there and do it. Don't let anybody stop you. Thank you so much for joining us on For My ATL Sports 1 on YouTube. Appreciate that. And hey, we will see you tonight. Rise up, go Braves, go Hawks, go Atlanta United, and go Dogs. You guys have a great day. Everyone be safe. Thank you.
Peace.